I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief brought to you by Lay of the Land, where we bring you those top stories making headlines every Monday to Thursday. So let's get into the top stories because it has been a very busy news day. And we begin with the tragic news that 3 people were killed and 6 more injured, some of them critical, following a terror attack in Ariel earlier today. The terrorist, believed to be 18-year-old Mohammed Souf, who was in the country on a work permit, has been neutralized. So what is believed to have happened is he stabbed 3 people and 1 or 2 others. We don't have the exact numbers, at the number 10 garage or petrol station at the entrance to Ariel. He then stole a car and drove into the traffic on the wrong side of the road, causing a multiple car pileup. The terrorist was then neutralized. The first of the 3 victims has been identified as 50-year-old father of 6, Tamir Avichai. The names of the other 2 victims have not been identified. As we speak, Defense Minister Benny Gantz is meeting with his security establishment. In other news, the United States Department of Justice have said that they will be opening an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh earlier this year. The investigation is believed to be, or will be, carried out by the FBI. Now, Israel has refused to cooperate. Defense Minister Benny Gantz has said it is a grave mistake and interference into an internal and domestic issue by the Department of Justice, and that Israel will not be cooperating with American investigators. It is believed that certain pressure groups have put the pressure on the Department of Justice to investigate these circumstances. But let's just remind viewers, if you haven't followed the situation around Shireen Abu Akleh. She was a journalist for Al Jazeera, a war correspondent, and as many of us who work in the field of journalism know, it is at great risk do you cover a conflict. And despite the fact that she was wearing a vest to identify her, she was killed in an exchange of bullets during a counter-terror operation in Jenin earlier this year. When she died, the Palestinian coroner carried out an investigation. He said he couldn't come to any conclusion who was responsible. The independent American forensics experts also said it was inconclusive. Meanwhile, since the incident happened, the IDF carried out their own operational investigation, and the findings were that while it was inconclusive, it is likely that the fatal bullet could have been fired by somebody from the IDF, albeit by accident. This is an issue that has become highly politicized by many seeking to push an agenda. And by pushing forward an investigation, first of all, this is unprecedented by the United States to do this to an allied country, and sends the message to our army that they don't have any faith in our investigative abilities. We also would just like to remind the Department of Justice that Alan Tamimi, who is wanted for the murder of Malki Roth and several others during a suicide bomb attack several years ago, she was the mastermind behind this, still needs to be extradited to the United States to stand trial, something that the United States has not made happen yet. So, as you can understand, Israelis today very, very angry, lamenting the gross double standard. Ukraine's ambassador to Israel has just met with representatives of Israel's foreign ministry who expressed their disappointment at Ukraine joining other countries to vote in a one-sided resolution at the United Nations last week that would see Israel be taken to the International Court of Justice at The Hague. The resolution, which was voted against by countries such as the United States, Australia, Canada, and various others, with abstentions from countries like the United Kingdom. However, Ukraine, who have pressured Israel on a near daily basis to provide air defense systems, voted for the resolution along with Russia. Now, Israel has expressed our disappointment and over the weekend abstained from a pro-Ukraine resolution also at the United Nations. Meanwhile, an aide to President Zelensky expressed his dismay at the voting of his ambassador to the United Nations, saying that Israel is an important ally, especially since Russia and Iran are growing closer with their bilateral ties. Other officials and influencers within the Ukrainian government have also expressed their dismay. Meanwhile, Israel is busy preparing our response to the one-sided resolution from the United Nations. And we end our broadcast on slightly better news because, hey, we could all do with some better news. And I promised after yesterday being joined by Sean the Snake, which some of you did not appreciate, and my apologies for all of those who are a little bit phobic about snakes. We have to give kavod to Israeli songstress and Eurovision contender Noa Kirel. Noa attended the MTV Awards, where she was awarded Best Israeli Act, dressed head to toe in Kanye West. This was Noa's attempt to take ownership and to give the proverbial middle finger to Kanye West, saying, "You will not belittle me, you will not control me." And what we loved in particular were her accessories, which was a whole lot of Magen Davids and Chaz. So Kanye West, or Ye, or whatever you call yourself these days, consider yourself schooled by Noa Kirel. And that brings me to the end of today's broadcast. Don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our growing Facebook community at Lottle's site. You guys know what to do. Like us, follow us, share our content. Our growing YouTube channel at The Israel Brief. All you have to do is click on that red subscribe button, and we're on Twitter at @LayOfTheLand5. I'm Rolene Marks. This is The Israel Brief, and we'll bring you more updates on these top stories tomorrow.